Welcome. In this video I'm going to show you how you can create a split histogram, which is what I call this type of histogram, where you basically have three histograms nicely underneath each other using Python 3 in Jupyter Lab. I'm going to scroll all the way back up because that was the end result. It is one of the options to use if you have a nominal variable and a scale, which is an interval or ratio variable, and is the one I would use to show the results. You can also go for a side-by-side so-called box plot, which is a little bit more technical, so it depends a little bit on your audience which one you want to use. So in this video I'm going to do that split histogram. Not sure if that's the official name, can also be a paneled histogram perhaps, but we'll see. I'll show it by using an example, and for that example it's actually going to be a pandas data frame, so I need to import pandas. If you've never used pandas before, you can use exclamation sign and then pip install and then the package name. That goes for any packages used. So I can then load the data using the read CSV, so PD from pandas, and then the function read CSV, and then simply the file that I want to read. And head will show me the first 5 records, so you get a little bit of an impression of the data. So for this example I will use as a nominal field the location, and as my numbers field the overall grade, which was the grade the students gave to the course. So to get the histogram we need to have the scores in separate lists, so I'm first going to set my location as my nominal variable and overall grade as my scale variable. Then to create a different list, so I need one list for each possible location, which was Diemen, Haarlem and Rotterdam. And this will create a list of booleans, so true, false. Every time when Diemen is true, it will set it to true for my cat1. That's useful because then I can use that list of booleans in my scale and then drop any missing values, so that all the scores of Diemen will be in scores of 1, all the ones from Haarlem in scores 2, and all the ones from Rotterdam in scores 3. For the histogram I'll make use of matplotlib pyplot, so that's going to be loaded as well. Import. Now a single histogram, I made a separate video and document about that one, so I'm not going to repeat all of it, but in essence a quick histogram can be made by using that PLT, which was my short version for matplotlib pyplot, and then histogram, and then simply the scores I want. I can give it a nice color, an edge color, and also label my axis. Now to plot all 3 in one go, we need to do a few extra things. We need to first create a figure that I can then use. I'll simply call it figure 1. And I will use fixed size to actually determine the width and height of each of those figures. Then to adjust the spacing between each figure, I use subplots adjust and then horizontal space. That way I can always read the horizontal axis between each plot. We call each plot a subplot now, so that, and set its location. And we also add for each plot a horizontal scale, so that all of them use the same, which can be done with xlim and then using the minimum and the maximum value. So I'm making sure that I'm using the same bins everywhere. So just so you can see, this actually goes all the way up to 100, because the grades were 0 to 100. So here's all that code, and actually this is the starting bit to set up the entire figure. And then actually I have this basically 3 times, each time one for Haarlem, one for Diemen, one for Haarlem, and one for Rotterdam. I'm changing the colors just to make it look a little bit standing out, and in the end I'll then use plot show, and that should give me the diagram that I started with at the beginning to show you. And this way you can quickly compare how the Diemen students, they seem to be quite pleased. The Haarlem students, they gave it a little bit lower, and the Rotterdam seemed to be a little bit all over the place. So Diemen did pretty well, and Haarlem and Rotterdam slightly less. Alright, of course there's a lot more, you can change colors, etc. But as a first quick impression, I hope this video was helpful.